My beloved child, come and be still. For a long time now, you have known only the storm. You have lived your life huddled in a small and fragile place of survival as the winds of chaos have howled around you, and the cold rains of sorrow have fallen without end. The storm has not been a brief or passing event in your life. It has become your entire climate. Your only known reality. You have lived in the midst of its roaring and its darkness for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to be warm. You have forgotten what it feels like to be dry. You have forgotten what it feels like to see the sun. The world around you has looked at the unrelenting and violent storm in your life, and they have offered you their judgments and their conclusions. Some, with a heart of cruel and simplistic religion, have said that you must have done something terrible to cause such a disaster, that the storm is a punishment for some secret sin. Others, with a shallow and dismissive pity, have simply told you that this is your unfortunate fate, that you must learn to accept it, that you should build a permanent shelter in the midst of the rain. For this storm is now the defining feature of your life. They have looked at your story, and they have pronounced it a tragedy. And in the roaring chaos of the storm, in the long and lonely nights, you have begun to believe them. You have looked at the relentless darkness. You have felt the violent winds of adversity. You have been soaked through by the endless downpour of your own grief. And you have concluded that the sun, the very source of light and warmth, has burned out of your sky forever. You have come to believe that the darkness is now your permanent reality, that your own inner light has been completely and irrevocably extinguished by the storm, and that this tempest will be the final and only chapter of your story. But my child, you have been listening to the terrifying voice of the storm, and you have mistaken it for my voice. You have been looking at the temporary, though powerful, clouds, and you have forgotten the eternal, unshakable sun that has always been burning behind them. You have thought that the darkness was your permanent reality. But I've come to you today as a Lord of the dawn, the one who commands the morning, to declare a great and glorious truth over you. The storm, in all its fury, has a purpose, and its purpose is now almost complete. The storm is passing, and after the storm, you, my beloved child, will not just see the sun again. You will arise like a sun. Before you can fully grasp the promise of your rising, we must first, with great honor and compassion, acknowledge the full reality of the storm you have endured. I do not minimize its terror or its pain. I was there with you in every moment, a silent presence in the midst of the chaos. Let us first speak of the deafening wind of chaos. For years, it has seemed to blow from every direction at once, tearing at the very fabric of your life with its unpredictable fury. It has been the wind of sudden, unexpected change. It has been the wind of relentless crises, where no sooner have you survived one onslaught than another has appeared on the horizon. It has been the wind that has torn your best laid plans from your hands before they were ever begun. This wind has kept you in a constant state of being off balance, of being disoriented, unable to find your footing, unable to plant anything in the soil of your life that is not immediately uprooted. Its constant, deafening howling has filled your mind with the sound of chaos, and has made it almost impossible to think a clear or a peaceful thought. And then there has been the cold rain of sorrow. This has not been a gentle, life-giving spring rain. It has been a cold, relentless, and drenching winter rain of sorrow. It has been the rain of your own tears, the tears of profound grief over what you have lost, the tears of bitter disappointment over what has not come to pass, the tears of aching loneliness in your isolation. This rain has soaked you to the very bone. It has made your entire world feel perpetually damp, cold, and gray. It has chilled your heart and has threatened, time and time again, to extinguish the last tiny embers of your passion and your hope. You have felt in your soul that you will never be truly warm or truly dry again. In the midst of this wind and this rain, there have been the terrifying flashes of lightning. These have been the moments of sudden, acute trauma, the shocking news that brought you to your knees, the sharp and unexpected act of betrayal from someone you trusted, the accident that changed everything in an instant. These violent bolts of lightning have, for a brief and terrible moment, illuminated the full horror of the storm around you, and their searing light has burned traumatic images into the walls of your memory. And the thunder that has followed each flash has been the sound of your own heart pounding in terror, the echo of that trauma reverberating through your soul long after the initial flash has gone. And the result of all of this, the constant wind, the cold rain, the terrifying lightning, has been a profound, pervasive, and overwhelming darkness. The storm clouds have been so thick, so low, and so unrelenting that they have completely obscured all sources of light. The sun, the moon, the stars, all have been hidden from your sight. And you have been living your life in a world without light. You have had no guidance, no sense of direction, no clear vision of where you're going. You have been stumbling in the dark, tripping over unseen obstacles, trying to navigate by the faulty memory of a light you once knew. And in this deep and prolonged darkness, your hope has withered. You have, understandably, concluded that the light is gone forever, not just from your sky, but from within your own soul. You have felt that your own inner sun has been extinguished. You have seen the storm as a meaningless, destructive, and random event. You have seen it as the evidence of my absence, or worse, as the proof of my anger toward you. But I am the Lord of the storm. I am the one who commands the wind and the waves. And I have not allowed this season of chaos in your life without a profound, a loving, and a redemptive purpose. The storm that you have seen as your utter destruction has, in fact, been the very instrument of your greatest transformation. It has been a holy, a necessary, and a purposeful process. You thought the storm was a sign that I had abandoned you, but I was in the storm with you. A quiet, unshakable presence in the eye of your personal hurricane, holding you together. You thought the darkness was a permanent state, but I knew it was the necessary darkness of a sacred womb, the darkness of the fertile earth, where a new and glorious light was being secretly formed within you. You thought your own inner light had been extinguished forever, but I was there, jealously protecting a single, tiny, unquenchable ember of your spirit, shielding it from the rain. and patiently waiting for the appointed moment to breathe my own breath upon it and to ignite it into a great and glorious flame. You thought the storm was the end of your story, but I, the author, knew that it was just the long, dark, and dramatic night before the most magnificent sunrise of your entire life. The storm, my child, as real and as terrifying as it has been, does not have the final word. I do. The darkness does not have the final word. My light does. You have felt like a helpless victim of the storm, but I declare to you today that you are, in fact, the sun that is about to rise after it. And now that we have acknowledged together the full and painful reality of the storm you have endured, you must now begin to understand my absolute sovereignty over it. We must speak of me not just as a God who is present in the storm, but as the Lord of the storm. You have now looked unflinchingly, with me by your side, at the full and terrifying reality of the storm that has raged in your life. You have acknowledged the howling wind of chaos, the cold rain of sorrow, the terrifying lightning of trauma, and the profound, disorienting darkness that has been your only reality for so long. And in the face of this overwhelming and violent force, you have felt like a helpless victim. You have believed that the storm was a power far greater than your own, and you have even feared, in your darkest moments, that it was a power greater than my willingness or my ability to intervene on your behalf. I know how you have perceived this long and difficult season. You have looked at the chaos, and you have concluded that the universe is random and that your life is meaningless. Or you have looked at the relentless nature of the attacks against you, the temptations, the accusations, the uncanny timing of your trials, and you have concluded that the enemy of your soul is in control, that he has triumphed over you, and that I was either unwilling or unable to stop him. Both of these conclusions have led you to the same place, a place of profound fear, of theological confusion, and of a deep and abiding sense of being utterly alone against a hostile power. But, my child, you have tragically underestimated my sovereign power, and you have profoundly misunderstood my divine purpose. The storm has not been a random series of unfortunate events, nor has it been a victory for your adversary. I tell you a truth today that is more real than the storm itself. A truth that is the very foundation of the cosmos. I am the Lord of the storm. Every single drop of rain that has fallen upon you has been measured by my hand. Every gust of wind that has battered you has been permitted by my will. Every flash of lightning that has terrified you has been directed by my finger. The enemy of your soul may have thought that he was creating this storm to destroy you, but he has only ever been an unwitting pawn in my hands, a foolish and arrogant servant who has been supplying the very elements that I, the master artist, have required for your transformation. My son once stood in a boat on a raging sea, and with a single command, he rebuked the wind and the waves, and they obeyed him. My child, you must know this in the depths of your being. The wind and the waves still know my name. I am the Lord of the storm. Let us now look together at each element of the storm that you have feared, and let me show you how I have been in complete and sovereign control of it for my own good and loving purposes. You have felt the wind of chaos, a wind that seemed to blow from every direction at once, tearing at the very fabric of your life. But it was I who commanded that wind to blow. And I used that powerful wind to accomplish a necessary and merciful work of demolition in your life. For you had built for yourself several old and unsafe structures, and you were clinging to them for your security. There was the house of your own self-sufficiency, built on the sandy foundation of your own talents. There was the false shelter of a toxic relationship that was slowly poisoning your soul. There was the rickety tower of a worldly ambition that was destined to collapse. The wind of adversity that I allowed was my tool to tear down these old structures, to clear the land of your life so that I could build something new, something beautiful, something eternal. The demolition was loud, it was messy, it was terrifying, but it was the necessary first step in my new construction project for you. You have been drenched by the cold rain of sorrow, and you have thought that you would surely drown in your own grief. But I, the Lord of the harvest, have been measuring every single drop of that rain with a perfect wisdom. I have allowed just enough rain of sorrow to fall upon you to soften the hard, dry, and prideful ground of your heart, a ground that was once too resistant to receive the new seeds of my grace. I never, for a moment, allowed the rain to become a destructive flood that would wash you away. The exact depth of your sorrow has been perfectly and lovingly measured by my hand to produce the greatest possible future fruitfulness in the garden of your soul. You have been terrified by the flashes of lightning, those sudden, traumatic events that have seared your memory with pain. You have seen them as random, cruel, and meaningless strikes from a hostile sky. But I, the divine surgeon, was the one who was directing every single bolt. I used the lightning of a sudden and painful loss to perform a divine surgery, to sever a tie to something or someone that was holding you in bondage. I used the lightning of a painful truth being exposed to illuminate a dark and cancerous area of your own heart that needed to be cut away for the sake of your healing. Each flash, though terrifying in the moment, was a precise and masterful surgical strike, designed with perfect, loving precision to remove a sickness from your soul that would have eventually killed you, and you have felt lost and abandoned in the overwhelming darkness. But I am the God of both the darkness and the light, and they are both alike to me. And I, your loving Father, was presiding over the darkness of your trial with a profound purpose. It was not the darkness of a prison. It was the darkness of a secret place. It was the darkness of a womb where a new identity was being formed in you. It was the darkness of the rich soil where the deep roots of your character were being forced to grow. And it was the darkness of a divine camouflage, a cloak of obscurity that I used to hide you from the watchful eye of your enemy while I was doing my most intimate and foundational work in you. And what of your adversary? Yes, he has indeed been at work. He has intended every single element of this storm for your ultimate evil, for your destruction, for the shipwreck of your faith. But you must understand this great and glorious truth of my absolute sovereignty. I am a God who is so powerful, so wise, and so loving, that I take the very things the enemy intends for your evil, and I skillfully and masterfully weave them together for your ultimate good. He has been nothing more than my unwitting, foolish, and temporary tool. His every attack against you has only served to drive you deeper into the safety of my arms. His every lie has only served to make you more desperate for my truth. His every attempt to destroy you has only resulted in me building you up stronger than you were before. I have been using his own energy to accomplish his own defeat. Therefore, my beloved child, you no longer need to fear the storm. You no longer need to see yourself as a helpless victim of a chaotic universe. You no longer need to fear the enemy, for he is a defeated foe in a very short leash, and he can do nothing to you that I do not first permit and then redeem for your good. You can learn to rest in the very center of the storm, in the eye of the hurricane, knowing with an unshakable certainty that your Father, the Lord of the storm, is in complete and loving control, and that every note of this tempest, even the most dissonant one, is part of a beautiful and masterful plan. And because I am the Lord of the storm, I also know the exact and appointed moment when its purpose has been fulfilled. And I declare to you today that the great storm is now losing its power. The winds are beginning to subside. The clouds are beginning to thin. For I am speaking a new word to the wind and the waves in your life. And that word is peace. Be still. The chaos is beginning to yield to my calm. And now that you understand my sovereignty over the storm, we must now speak of the beautiful and redemptive purpose of the rain that has fallen so heavily upon you. You now understand with a new and settled peace that I am the sovereign Lord of your storm. You see that its winds, its lightning, and its darkness have not been random acts of a chaotic universe, nor have they been a victory for your adversary. They have been the permitted and purposeful elements of my divine plan for your transformation. But now, we must look more closely at one of the most persistent and sorrowful components of your long storm, the cold, drenching, and seemingly endless rain. You have seen this downpour of your own tears and your pervasive sorrow as a sign of your weakness and your grief. And it has been that, but it has been so much more. The rain has felt like a force that has soaked you to the very bone, chilling your spirit and turning the entire landscape of your life into a field of thick, inescapable mud and mire. You have felt perpetually damp, heavy with a sorrow that you could not shake off. You have longed with all your heart for warmth, for dryness, for any reprieve from this relentless downpour. You have believed that this rain was drowning the last tiny seeds of your hope and washing away the very soil of your life. But my beloved child, this was no ordinary, destructive rain. It was a holy downpour, a spiritual shower that I have sent upon the landscape of your soul with a glorious and redemptive purpose. It was not sent to drown you, but to wash you. It was not sent to create a muddy wasteland, but to prepare a clean and beautiful land for the new day that is now dawning. For you must understand the beautiful mystery of the cleansing power of the rain. Your sorrow has been my sacred soap. Your tears have been my holy water. And together, they have been washing away the accumulated dust of your past. Let me show you what this holy rain has been cleansing from your life. First, the rain has been washing away the dust of your old failures. For years, the fine, gray dust of your past failures and your deep regrets has settled upon every surface of your soul. It was a thick, grimy, and suffocating layer of shame that dulled the color of every present moment and obscured the vision of your future. I know you have tried with all your might to wipe this dust away. You have tried to scrub it away with your own resolutions, with your religious efforts, with your desperate attempts to do better. But your own efforts only ever seem to smear the grime, to turn the dust into a muddy paste, making it even worse than before. The long, slow, and steady rain of your sorrow, the very tears you have cried over your own brokenness and your past mistakes, has been my gentle but relentlessly powerful way of washing that thick layer of dust away. Each tear of sincere, heartbroken repentance that you have shed in my presence has been like a drop of pure, clean, and holy water, landing on the dusty landscape of your heart. And over the years, these countless drops have joined together to become a cleansing stream, a powerful current of my grace that has been slowly but surely washing the slate of your heart clean. The rain of your sorrow has been cleansing you from the shame of your past. Next, the rain has been washing away the sticky pollen of worldly values. As you have walked through the fields of this world, the yellow, sticky, and allergenic pollen of its values has inevitably clung to you. You were covered in it, and you did not even realize it. It was the pollen of the world's definition of success. It was the pollen of the desire for human approval and applause. It was the pollen of a subtle love of money and material things. It was the pollen of a deep-seated pride in your own abilities and your own righteousness. And this sticky pollen created a profound spiritual allergy in your soul. It was making you sick. It was causing your spiritual eyes to swell shut and your spiritual lungs to find it difficult to breathe the pure air of my kingdom. The hard, driving rain of your trials has been a powerful spiritual shower that has washed this sticky, contaminating pollen from you. The loss of your success has cleansed you of your pride. The rejection of men has cleansed you of your need for their approval. The season of lack has cleansed you of your trust in money. It has been a painful and a stripping process. Yes, but the rain has cleansed you of your attachments to the things of this world that can never truly satisfy, leaving you with a new, pure, and singular desire for me alone. The rain has also been washing away the hardened mud of bitterness and unforgiveness. The wounds and the injustices you have received from others in your life have created deep, muddy puddles of bitterness, of resentment, and of unforgiveness in your heart. And for a long time, you have been spiritually stuck in this mire, unable to move forward, constantly replaying the offenses, constantly feeling the anger and the pain, but the constant, soft, and gentle rain of my grace, which has been falling upon you even in the midst of your sorrow, has been slowly, patiently loosening that hardened mud with every fresh wave of my love for you, with every new revelation of the infinite grace I have shown you. The hard ground of your unforgiveness toward others has been softening. The rain has been teaching you, slowly and gently, how to forgive as you have been forgiven. It has been washing away the dark, heavy mud of your resentment, clearing the path for you, and making the soil of your heart soft and fertile ground once again. And you must know that this rain has not only been for washing away the negative, It has also been for watering the hidden seeds of your character, deep in the soil of your soul. Long ago, I planted the divine and incorruptible seeds of your true character, the seeds of Christ-like endurance, of profound compassion, of deep and quiet wisdom, of unshakable faithfulness. For years, in the dry season of your ease, these seeds lay dormant. Your own efforts were not enough to make them grow. The long, slow, steady rain of your suffering has been the very thing that has watered these hidden, precious seeds. The rain has caused them to germinate and to begin to send their roots down deep into the bedrock of my character. The beautiful, strong, and fruitful character that you will walk in for the rest of your life is a direct and undeniable result of the sorrowful, life-giving rain that you have endured in this past season. Therefore, I am calling you now to a complete change of perspective. You must stop seeing your tears as a sign of your weakness or as a worthless, salty waste. Every single tear you have cried in my presence has been a holy and a powerful drop of cleansing water. They have not been wasted. As my word says, I have collected every one of them in my bottle, and they have accomplished a profound, a beautiful, and a necessary work in you. And now, listen, the heaviest of the downpour is passing. The deluge is softening to a gentle and refreshing shower. The storm clouds are beginning to thin. And do you know what happens after a great and cleansing rain has passed? The air itself becomes clean, fresh, and clear. The colors of the world, once dulled by the dust, now seem more vibrant, more brilliant, and more beautiful than ever before. A sweet and wonderful fragrance rises up from the clean and watered earth, and often a great and glorious rainbow appears in the sky, the beautiful, multicolored sign of my everlasting covenant and my unfailing promise. The rain has done its holy work. The world of your soul is now clean and is ready for the sun to rise. The cleansing rain of your sorrow has now passed. The torrential downpour has softened to a gentle shower, and even now it is beginning to cease. The landscape of your soul is now clean, washed free of the thick, grimy dust of your past failures and regrets. But a clean landscape is not enough. A clean world without light is still a cold and desolate place. You have felt that the long, dark storm has not only washed you, but has extinguished your own inner light forever. You have looked inside your own heart and have found what you believe to be only darkness. But my child, I must now reveal to you a great and glorious cosmic mystery. For I have been using the very elements of the storm that you have so feared, not to extinguish your light, but to create it. We must now move our attention from the earthly metaphor of the rain to the heavenly metaphor of the stars. We must speak of the immense and holy pressure that creates a star. I know that in this past season, you have felt a pressure so intense, so constant, and so unrelenting that you have believed you were being crushed into nothingness. It has been the immense atmospheric pressure of your overwhelming circumstances. It has been the internal pressure of your own anxieties and fears. It has been the downward pressure of your failures and your shame. You have felt that the very essence of your being was being compressed, that your spirit was being pulverized into a fine, dead, and lightless dust. You have felt at times that you are ceasing to exist under this unbearable and inescapable weight. You have seen this pressure only as a destructive force, a force designed to annihilate you. But I am the God who created the heavens, and I understand the laws of celestial creation. I want you to look up with me into the deep, dark, and seemingly empty void of space. And I want you to ask, how is a new star born? Does it emerge from a place of light and ease? Never. A new star is always born out of a great, dark, and cold cloud of simple dust and cosmic gas. And this cloud, this nebula, is slowly drawn together by the invisible but relentless force of its own gravity. As it collapses in on itself, the pressure and the heat at its very core begin to build, becoming more and more intense until it reaches a temperature of millions of degrees. The pressure becomes so immense, so unimaginable, that in the very center of that crushing darkness, a new and glorious reality is born. Nuclear fusion begins. A new and holy fire is ignited, and light, brilliant, powerful, and unstoppable, floods out into the darkness. A star is born. My beloved child, the dark and chaotic cloud of your life, with all its dust of failure and its gas of confusion, has been my nebula. And the intense, crushing pressure of your trials has not been destroying you. It has been the very gravitational force I have been using to create anew, a holy and an unquenchable star in the center of your spirit. Your inner light was forged in the dark. Let me show you the stages of this glorious, stellar creation within your soul. First, I had to gather the nebulae. I looked at the scattered debris of your life, your brokenness, your weaknesses, your failures, your fears, your surrendered will. These were the things that you saw as worthless, as cosmic dust, as meaningless, scattered debris. But I saw them as the precious and essential raw materials for a new star. And in the crucible of your trials, I began to draw these things together, to concentrate them in one place, creating the spiritual mass that would be required for the miracle to come. Then began the long, slow, and often painful process of gravitational collapse. This was your season of humbling. This was your season of being brought low. The pressure began to build, both from without and from within. The circumstances of your life seemed to squeeze you from all sides, and you felt yourself shrinking, becoming smaller and smaller, collapsing in on yourself. It felt like you were being diminished. It felt like you were descending into a dark and suffocating pit. But I was not digging your grave. I was collapsing the raw material of your life inward to increase the pressure and the heat at the very core of your being. I was preparing the way for the great ignition. And every star has its ignition point. It is the precise, critical moment when the pressure and the heat at the core becomes so great that a new reality is born. It is a moment that nuclear fusion begins, and light and heat are released in a glorious, self-sustaining, and unstoppable flood. My child, there has been a moment, or perhaps a series of moments, in the midst of your deep suffering, a moment of your ultimate surrender, a moment when you thought you could not possibly endure another ounce of pressure. And in that very moment of your deepest darkness and your greatest pressure, a new and divine fire was ignited in the core of your spirit. It is the very light of my own Son, He who is the light of the world. It is the fire of my own Holy Spirit. And that fire, that light, is now burning within you as your own. You must understand the nature of this new inner light. It is not your own. It is not the flickering, fragile candlelight of your own human optimism or your own natural goodness. That light can be easily extinguished by the winds of circumstance. No, the light that is now within you is a stellar fire. It is a self-sustaining, thermonuclear furnace of my own divine and eternal life. It does not need external fuel to keep it burning. It cannot be extinguished by the storms of this world. It burns from a source deep within you, a source that is directly connected to me, the one who is eternal, inexhaustible, and uncreated light. You are no longer just a planet, reflecting my light. You have now become a star, a source of my light in a dark world. Therefore, I am calling you now to a radical change in your identity. You must stop identifying with the cold, dark, and scattered dust cloud of your past. You are no longer just a nebula of unrealized potential. The pressure has done its holy work. The divine fire has been ignited. You are a star. You may feel like a small star, a distant star in a vast and crowded sky, but you are real, a true, and a burning source of heavenly light, set in the darkness of this world by my own hand. And what is the purpose of a star? Is it to hide its own light for fear that it is not bright enough? Never. The purpose of a star is to shine. It is to give light to those who are lost in the darkness. It is to give warmth to those who are cold with despair. It is to hang in the heavens as a silent, burning, and glorious testament to the power and the majesty of its Creator. The painful pressure has now fulfilled its glorious and creative purpose. Your inner light, the very life of my Son, has been forged in the deep darkness of your trial. And now, the time has come for the obscuring clouds of your storm to begin to part, so that this new and beautiful light that I have placed within you can finally be seen. The divine, creative pressure of your trials has accomplished its glorious work. In the deep, hidden, and dark core of your being, a new and unquenchable fire has been ignited. A star has been born. The very light of my own Son, the light of the world, has now become your own inner and eternal reality. But I know, my child, that as you hear this, there is a painful and confusing disconnect between this glorious truth and your lived experience. For you look at your life, and you do not see a shining star. You see only the thick, oppressive, and all-encompassing darkness of the storm clouds that still surround you. You wonder, with a heart full of weary confusion, if this new light has truly been ignited within me. Why has no one seen it? Why do I still feel so hidden, so obscure, so forgotten? Why am I a star that is not shining? You must now understand the final and most merciful mystery of your long storm. You must understand the divine purpose and the profound mercy of the obscuring clouds. I know how this season of obscurity has felt to you. It has felt like a final, cruel irony to have endured the great pressure, to have survived the forging of a new light within you, only to find yourself still trapped under a thick, heavy, and impenetrable blanket of clouds, has been a unique and frustrating torment. You have longed to shine. You have longed to share this new light and life that you have felt stirring within you, but you have remained hidden, unseen and seemingly forgotten by both heaven and earth. You have felt like a star whose light is completely blocked, destined to burn in a darkness where no one will ever see its glory. And you have feared that this obscurity is your final and permanent state. But you have seen these dark clouds as your enemy. You have seen them as the very thing that has been blocking your destiny and imprisoning your light. But I, the Lord of the heavens, the one who commands the clouds and the rain, want to reveal to you today that it was I who gathered these clouds around you. They were not your prison. They were your divine nursery. They were a merciful and protective veil that I, in my infinite wisdom and love, intentionally placed over you for a specific and glorious purpose. I was not hiding you from your destiny. I was lovingly hiding you for your destiny. I hid you until you were ready to shine. Let me now explain to you the loving reasons for this season of hiddenness. First, I have been hiding you from an enemy who hates the light. Your ancient adversary, the Prince of Darkness, is a creature who despises the light, for the light exposes his works and signals his ultimate defeat. And I tell you, in the spiritual realm, the moment that your new stellar light was ignited in the core of your being, he became aware of it. It appeared on his spiritual radar as a new and threatening star in the heavens. And had your light been immediately and fully exposed to the world, he would have launched a full-scale, furious, and concentrated assault against you to try and extinguish that light before it could grow strong and confident. The thick, dark storm clouds of your obscurity, your season of being hidden and overlooked, have been my divine stealth technology. They have been a holy and protective camouflage. They have made you invisible to the enemy's primary detection systems, while he has been distracted by the brighter, louder, more obvious, and more public lights in my kingdom. I have been safely and secretly nurturing your new flame in the sanctuary of the clouds. I have been strengthening it, feeding it, and preparing it for its great and glorious unveiling. Your obscurity has not been a sign of your insignificance. It has been a sign of your great importance and the great threat your coming light poses to the kingdom of darkness. Second, I have been hiding you from a world that was not yet ready for you. The world, in its present state of darkness, has grown accustomed to the dim, flickering, and artificial lights of its own making, and a sudden, and a brilliant light from heaven can be a blinding and even an offensive thing to eyes that have long been accustomed to the dark. Had I unveiled you and the new light you carry prematurely, your light would have been misunderstood. It would have been rejected. It would have been mocked by the cynicism of the world. The world would have tried to smother your new and tender flame before it ever had a chance to grow into a great and steady fire. The clouds of your hiddenness have been my way of protecting your beautiful and still developing light from the harsh, cold, and unbelieving atmosphere of the world until it was strong enough, and you were strong enough to withstand the inevitable resistance that all true light faces. Third, I have been mercifully hiding you from the great dangers of premature fame and influence. This, my child, has been one of my most profound acts of fatherly love for you. I know that you have seen others rise to prominence quickly, and you have, at times, envied their platform and their influence, but you have not seen the hidden and terrible dangers of a premature platform. The bright spotlight of public attention is a hot and often a destructive light. It has the power to feed the subtle and insidious pride of the human heart. It can make a person fall in love with the sound of their own applause. It can make them believe their own message. Many of my most promising children have been tragically destroyed by being given a platform before their character was ready to sustain it. I have kept you hidden in the quiet and obscurity of the clouds to protect you from this great danger. In the hidden place, where there was no applause, where no one was watching, I have been doing a deep and necessary work of humility in your soul. I have been forging in you a character that is so secure in my love and my approval alone that when your time to shine finally comes, you will not be destroyed by the praise of men. You will be able to stand in the brightest spotlight and reflect all the glory and all the attention back to me, its one true source. And finally, the time under the clouds was necessary to allow your own light to grow in its intensity. A newly born star is not at its full power. It is often unstable. It takes time for its nuclear fire to stabilize, for its light to grow in its consistency, its brilliance, and its radiance. The season you have spent under the cover of the clouds has been your time of holy stabilization, in the secret place, protected from the enemy and from the world. Your new inner light has been growing stronger, hotter, and more brilliant with each passing day. I have been feeding your inner fire with the pure fuel of my word. I have been fanning the flame with the gentle breath of my spirit. And the result is that what will now finally emerge from behind the clouds will not be a weak, flickering, and uncertain light. It will be a strong, a steady, a mature, and a glorious sun, ready to take its appointed place in the heavens. You have been impatient. I know this. You have wanted to break through the clouds and to shine, but you must trust the perfect wisdom and the perfect timing of your Creator. I am the only one who knows the exact moment when the enemy has been sufficiently disarmed, when the world is sufficiently prepared, when your own character is sufficiently humble, and when your own light is sufficiently strong for your great unveiling. My timing for the partner of the clouds is, and always has been, perfect. But I declare to you now that the time of your hiding is coming to its glorious end. The divine purpose of the obscuring clouds has been fulfilled. And if you look closely now, with the new eyes I have given you, at the horizon of your life, you will begin to see the clouds thinning. You'll see the first, brilliant, and glorious rays of your own inner sun beginning to pierce through the gray. The clouds are about to part. The storm is about to pass. And you, my beautiful, hidden star, are about to be revealed. We have journeyed together through the deep and hidden purposes of your long and difficult season. You understand now that I have been your sovereign Lord over the storm. You see how the cleansing rain has washed your soul, how the immense pressure has forged a new star within you, and how the obscuring clouds have been a merciful veil of protection. The long, dark, and stormy night of your soul has served its sacred and transformative purpose. But you must know this every night, however long and however dark, must eventually yield to the unstoppable power of the dawn. And every storm, however fierce and however violent, must eventually break and give way to the calm and the light that follows. Listen now, my beloved child, with the new ears I have given you. For there's a new sound that is now breaking in the long silence in the heavens concerning you. It is not the rumble of distant thunder. It is the quiet, hopeful, and unmistakable sound of the breaking of the dawn. Therefore, with all the authority of the one who commands the morning and causes the sun to rise in its time, I now speak a new reality into your life. I declare that the great storm has now fulfilled its holy and necessary purpose, and it is now, by my command, beginning to recede. I declare that the dominion of the darkness over your life and over your heart is now broken. I declare that the authority of the clouds to obscure your light is now revoked. The long night is over, and your appointed time to arise from the dust of your struggle and to shine with the glory I have placed within you has now, finally, and gloriously come. The storm is passing. Your sun is rising. Let me now describe to you what this breaking of the dawn will look like in your life so that you may recognize it, partner with it, and rejoice in it. First, you will begin to witness the retreat of the storm. I want you to watch now with the eyes of your spirit. The great, black, and threatening storm clouds that have filled your sky for so long are now beginning to move. I am commanding a new and gentle wind, the very wind of my spirit, to come on to begin to blow them away from the land of your life. You will begin to notice that the constant violent wind of chaos in your circumstances is beginning to subside into a peaceful calm. The relentless, deafening thunder of your own anxiety is becoming a distant, unimportant rumble. The storm is not just ending, it is being actively and purposefully driven away from you. The atmosphere of your life is changing, and a new and profound peace is returning to the land. And as the storm clouds retreat, they will begin to break apart. Look up. My child, where there was once only an impenetrable, oppressive blanket of gray, you can now begin to see the first, beautiful, and breathtaking cracks of a clear, blue sky. For years, you have been hidden. But now, the veil of your obscurity is being torn. Your long and painful season of being unseen, of being unknown, of being forgotten, is now over. I am, with my own hands, parting the clouds in order to reveal to the watching world, and to you, the beautiful and resilient work that I have been doing in your heart in the secret place. It is now your time to be seen, and through those parting clouds, the first, brilliant, glorious rays of a new sun are now beginning to stream forth, illuminating the landscape of your life with a new and holy light. But you must understand, this is not just the sun of the sky that I'm speaking of. It is the very light of my Son that I have forged within you. It is the star that was born in your darkness. It is the light of your renewed hope. It is the light of your restored joy. It is the light of your new strength. It is the light of your divine purpose. This light will begin as the gentle, soft light of the early dawn, but it will grow in its intensity, in its brilliance, and in its power, minute by minute, day by day, until it fills your entire world and becomes a great and glorious noonday sun. You are no longer just a passive recipient of my light. By the miracle of my grace, you have now become a source of it. And as your sun rises, its warmth will begin to touch every part of your life that has been cold and barren for so long. It will bring its healing warmth to the cold and broken places of your heart. It will begin to dry the damp and muddy ground of your past sorrows, and it will cause the new and precious seeds of promise that I have planted in your soul to grow with a supernatural and startling speed. And this warmth, this light, this life will not be for you alone. It will radiate from you in every direction. People who have been living in their own cold, dark, and stormy places will be drawn to the warmth and the light that now emanates from your very being. You will become a walking, breathing fireplace for the cold. You will become a lighthouse of hope for those who are lost in the dark. Your life will become a place of comfort, of refuge, and a beacon that guides other weary souls home to me. My child, you must understand this truth with an unshakable certainty. A sunrise is not an event that can be reversed. Once the dawn begins to break, once the first light appears on the horizon, the darkness has already lost the battle. It can fight, it can struggle, it can linger for a while in the deep valleys, but it cannot stop the inevitable and triumphant rising of the sun. The rising of your sun, the dawning of your new beginning, is a divine and an unstoppable event in the spiritual realm. The enemy of your soul cannot prevent it. Your own lingering fears cannot stop it. It is my appointed time for you, and it has come. My prophet Isaiah, speaking my own heart to my people, declare these words, and they are my personal and powerful word to you today. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. This is your commission for this new season, the time for huddling in the darkness, for mourning the storm, for believing you are nothing more than a victim, is now completely and utterly finished. You must now, by a conscious act of your faith, choose to partner with my declaration. You must arise. You must stand up from the dust of your past in the new and glorious identity I've given you, and you must shine. You must intentionally and joyfully begin to release the light, the warmth, the hope, and the love that I have so patiently and so powerfully forged within you during the long night. The night is over, the storm is past, the dawn is breaking, your sun is rising. This is not a distant, future hope. It is your present, unfolding reality. Welcome, my beloved child, to the first day of the rest of your new life. The darkness has done its perfect work, and now the light will have its glorious and unending reign. The long and violent storm has passed. The dark and obscuring clouds have parted. And now, the glorious dawn of your new day has broken upon the horizon of your life. Your sun has risen. By my grace and my power, you have been lifted from the dark, cold, and muddy ground of your past struggles, and you have been placed in the heavens as a new and glorious source of light and warmth. But, my beloved child, you must understand the purpose of a sun. A sun does not exist for itself. Its very nature, its very glory, is to shine, to generously and ceaselessly give its light and its warmth away to the world around it. You must now learn how to live in this new and glorious identity. You must learn how to shine as the sun. I know your old, ingrained instinct for so long, huddled in the darkness of the storm. Your primary spiritual and emotional posture has been one of self-preservation. You have learned to hide your light, to cover it, to protect the small and fragile flame of your hope from the howling wind and the drenching rain. You have been trained by your trauma to be inward focused, concerned only with your own survival. This was a necessary and understandable posture for a season. But that season is now over. The time for hiding your light is finished. The time for shining it has come. My son, who is the great light of the world, said that no one lights a lamp and then puts it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. You, my child, are that lamp. You are that city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. And I want you to understand that this call to shine is not a new and heavy burden of performance that I am now placing upon you. It is the natural, effortless, and joyful overflow of the new, stellar, divine life that I have ignited within you. You will not have to try to shine. You will simply be a source of light. This is how you will release the light that I have now placed within you. How will you shine? What will this look like in your daily life? First, you will shine with the brilliant light of my hope. You are now to become a carrier of a rugged, a tested, and a profoundly resilient hope into a world that is drowning in a sea of despair. You will do this not by offering people shallow platitudes or easy, positive thinking formulas. You will do this by simply and honestly telling your story. You will tell the story of your own long and terrible storm. And then you will tell the story of the sunrise that followed. Your authentic testimony of my faithfulness to you in the midst of your own darkness will be a brilliant and powerful beam of light that will cut through the fog of other people's hopelessness. It will give them the courage to believe that a dawn can and will come for them as well. Second, you will shine with the healing warmth of my love. A sun does more than just give light, it gives warmth. And you, my child, will now begin to radiate the gentle, healing warmth of my unconditional love to the cold, the broken, and the lonely people around you, where you once had to guard and protect your own heart. You will now find that you have a new and supernatural capacity to offer comfort, to be truly present with those who are grieving, to speak a kind and life-giving word to those who feel forgotten. This warmth will not be a product of your own human effort to be a nice person. It will be the natural and effortless radiation of the divine fire that I have lit within your own heart. And people who have been living in the cold will be drawn to you. They will not always know why, but they will come and sit by your fire, and they will be warmed, not by you, but by the love of my own presence that now flows through you. Third, you will shine with the creative power of a new life. The sun is a great source of life. Its light falls upon the earth, and it causes the seeds to grow, the flowers to bloom, and the fruit to ripen. As you now walk through your life in this new beginning, the very life of my spirit within you will cause new life to spring up all around you. Your words of encouragement will be like seeds of life, taking root in the hearts of others and producing fruit you may never see. Your very presence, now filled with my peace and my joy, will create an atmosphere of growth and of possibility wherever you go. You will, without even trying, become a spiritual gardener, and your very presence in your home, in your workplace, and in your community will begin to cultivate the beautiful garden of my kingdom on this earth. And finally, You will shine with the majestic beauty of an unwavering peace. The sun in the heavens shines with a calm, a steady, and a majestic peace. It is not frantic. It is not anxious. It is not striving. It simply is. And in its being, it holds the entire solar system in a state of perfect, peaceful order. This will be the nature of your shining. As you have learned to rise above your own storms, you will now carry a new and a profound peace. The peace that comes from seeing your life from my vantage point, and in a chaotic, a frantic, an anxious, and a terrified world. Your quiet, non-anxious presence will be one of the brightest and most powerful lights of all. It will be a silent sermon that preaches a gospel of a God who is in control, a God who is at peace, a God who can be utterly and completely trusted. My beloved child, do not let this new commission feel like a new and heavy responsibility. Your primary job is not to do anything. It is simply to be. Be the star that I have made you. Be the source of light that I have created you to be. Be the vessel of my warmth and my life. Simply learn to abide in me, the great and eternal Sun, who is the source of all your light. And the shining will happen as naturally, as effortlessly, and as beautifully as a flower turning its face toward the light. The pressure is not on you to produce the light. The pressure is off because the light now lives in you, and He has promised that He will never leave you. And so, my beautiful son, my radiant star, my beloved child of the light, you have come to the end of your long night. We have walked together through the heart of the storm, and you have emerged, not broken, but brilliant, from the terrifying darkness of a reality that seemed permanent. Through the revelation of my sovereignty over the chaos, through the cleansing power of the rain and the creative pressure of the furnace, through the merciful protection of the obscuring clouds, to the glorious breaking of your new dawn, I have led you, and now you stand not as a victim of the storm, but as a living testament to the sun that always follows it. You're a story of my light, a song of my grace, a testament to my love. I want you to go forth into your life now, not with a feeling of heavy responsibility, but with a light and a joyful heart. Your work is not to strive to shine, but to simply live in the joy and the peace that are now yours, and to allow the light that I have placed within you to spill out naturally and beautifully upon everyone you meet. Shine, my beloved, simply shine, for you were created for the light, and the light that you now carry is my own.